Hey guys, this is Awesome John 22 coming at you with another review today. This time of another Power Rangers toy. We're looking at the Power Rangers Super Megaforce Legendary Megazord, also known as Gokaiyo from Gokaiger in Japan. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it right off the bat. I really like this guy, and I think in a couple of different ways he's actually better than his Japanese counterpart. Don't hit me! Okay, no, but in all seriousness, yes, I think he does some things better than his Japanese counterpart, and I'm going to try to explain to you today why I think so. First of all, I want to apologize for any pounding you might hear in the background. It would seem that my apartment manager is just scheduling all apartment maintenance around the days that I'm going to be shooting reviews. It shouldn't be too loud, though. I've got all the windows closed. It seems like somebody's hammering outside is what the problem is. But yeah, so if it bugs you, tough. So let's take a look at this guy. First of all, we're going to break him down into his individual components and take a look at them separately through the power of jump cuts. Here we have these guys lined up in their separate vehicle modes. As you can see, we have kind of a pirate theme going on. You've got the anchor on pink, you've got the boat, you've got the symbol for the series, which is this silver skull and crossbones with a key replacing the skull. I'm not sure what a four-winged jet and a race car have to do with piracy, but a submarine for diving for buried treasure and a hauler for hauling it kind of makes sense. And I do like the motif here. I want to show off the best figure out of the individual vehicles, which is the red skyship in the English version. Very clean. You can't see a whole lot of the robot mode crap here. You can see his leg ports kind of stick out in the back, but they could be thrusters. You could imagine that. And a little tiny bit of his head is peeking through, but it's not too bad. And overall, I really like the look of it. The other figures are a little more plain, but it's alright. You have yellow here, which I want to point out, on most of the figures, this symbol here is not painted silver. I have painted it silver myself. On pretty much all of them, actually. In fact, I think red was the only one who had any, and it wasn't even on all of it. The one on the side wasn't painted. But yeah, you have this. I like the detailing. It looks like wood paneling, which is kind of cool. The cab looks like a treasure chest. But it does have these ports sticking out of it in two places. Pink is a very similar design, as they're obviously both the legs. But I really like the look of this. We've got kind of this boot look here for when it's a leg. And we've got this really cool anchor pattern on the front. You can see where I painted in the Gokaiger symbol on both sides. And again, it has both of these ports. The blue Zord, which is a jet, is actually, they've changed the colors around on a couple of these guys a little tiny bit. This one I think is the best. His four wings in the Japanese version are different colors from the top layer to the bottom layer. On this, they uniformed them up, and I like it a lot. You see he's got a cannon on the front for shooting people. And this up here is very clearly the helmet for Megazord mode, but it's alright. It looks inconspicuous enough. And then we have the racer. Why they need a racer, I don't know. It's whatever. Forgot to fold that up. You can see nice gold here and here. A hand clearly sitting there. The symbol on the bottom that I have not painted because it's low enough that I figure it's going to scrape it off when he rolls, and they do roll well. All of them have wheels, even the boat. They do roll really well. It's still actually a good shot of them. But yeah, these guys are cool. They've got a cool pirate motif going on that is not at all mentioned in the English version, and I don't think it's mentioned too often in the Japanese version after the first few episodes, honestly. Though I haven't watched all of it yet. I probably should. Both series are actually pretty good. I mean, sprinkle a little extra cheese on Sentai and you've got Power Rangers anyway. But I actually am kind of liking Super Megaforce. It's pretty epic for the most part. And the backstory they give their 6th Ranger, I don't know how close it is to Gokaiger, but he's pretty cool too. And I want to show off real quick while they're in their individual Zord modes, one of the accessory Zords from this season, so you can see how they scale together. This is the Mystic Force Dragon from Power Rangers Mystic Force as a Gokaiger toy slash Power Rangers Super Megaforce toy, and as you can see, he scales pretty well with the other figures, except, you know, he should have been a lot bigger, really, since he was a combination of 4 Zords. But in this version, he's just 1 Zord. And we'll see why he's here in a minute. And moving off to the side, let's get these guys combined together. And as they are Power Rangers slash Sentai, they're not super difficult, but they're kind of interesting. This guy, in the Japanese version, this whole assembly would have had to remove and then reattach here. In America, it just folds up, which I really like. I think that is definitely one of the huge improvements between this and the Japanese version. Set that there, go to pink, we fold this up, fold this out, and that's it. Very simple. Moving on to blue, fold those in, pop that off, fold that out, or in, depending on what you want to combine with him later, which I'm mostly just talking about this to show off the fact that the ports can't actually fold up in on the arm pieces, at least, which is pretty good. But yeah, now he's an arm. Moving on to green, we take his little hand, pop it out, rotate the wheels around, and turn him over. Now you've got another arm with wheels hanging off it. And finally, to the most complex transformation goes the Red Ranger. We take these and kind of split them in half. Split kind of everything in half, really, up here. And the swords are just going to fall out. I was trying to be cool and leave them in there, but they're just going to fall out. You fold this out, fold this down that way, fold this down that way. You can see his head, which is without the helmet, is a very cool kind of pirate head with a bandana. And then you come down here and you just fold these back. Very simple. Moving up a little bit, you now take green, plug him in here. It takes a second to get it in there. These ports are pretty strong. Blue, and plug him in there. Yeah. Pink goes on one specific side. Get a better grip. Yellow goes on the other side, obviously. And then moving up to his head, we take the helmet from blue, plug it onto the top, and kind of spread out the wings. And now we have the legendary Megazord slash Gokaiger in all of his glory. And I think he looks really cool. I think in terms of the proportions, in terms of the color scheme, in terms of the whole design overall, he looks really good. He looks about as good as any of the best recent Megazords we've gotten. He does have his twin swords, which are pretty small. This one has the sail from vehicle mode on it, and therefore can only go in this hand that has room for it to slide into place. And I put it in backwards. Fumble counter is going to be high today, guys. And on green here, we can see this one can just plug into his hand. And now he's dual wielding these, what do you call them? Cutlasses, I think. And they're a little short, but I think they look alright. And you can see he's got the cannons on his shoulders. The sail folds up to be a cool symbol on his chest. I really like it. The only thing I don't like is the pegs that are showing on yellow and pink. It's really annoying. But I understand why they're there. In the Japanese version of this, to give a quick explanation, for the gimmick, all five of all 5 of the Zords would open up to reveal other Zord components within them. This one doesn't do that. This one just uses that peg system that we've seen on past Zords already. And I think that's brilliant, because it allows for universal compatibility between the limbs on this guy and the limbs on other Zords, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. To demonstrate this, I want to bring in something that may or may not be a preview of a review from next week. Move the legendary Megazord back a bit, take this guy, pop off one of his arms, pop off green, pop it on. It doesn't look perfect, but it is definitely a cross combination of Zords from different series combining together. And I think it's pretty freaking cool. Trying not to knock everything over here. Also, I want to talk about another complaint that people often have about this figure compared to the Japanese version, and that's its size. By showing you a size comparison of him and his friend here. This is a toy from the Megaforce era. This is a toy from the Super Megaforce era. Putting his arm back on, because I'm a doofus and forgot to do so. You can see they're about the same height. This is about the standard height of a Megaforce Megazord, so I like the scale. Do I like that they scaled them down at all? Not really, but I like the scale to stay consistent now that they have. Moving on to the third complaint, aside from the fact that it doesn't open up and the fact that it's smaller. A lot of people say that the plastic feels kind of cheap. Yeah, it does. I'm not gonna defend that one. It just does. But it's not that bad. It's got some good weight to it. The paint looks really good. The colors look really good. It looks really pretty freaking good. So, its cheapness, if you could even call it that, because I think it puts enough weight into itself to make up for it. Its cheapness doesn't really detract from the figure at all. In fact, it makes it a little more appealing because the price gets lowered. Now, to discuss that gimmick that we've been talking about, or that I've been talking about, I guess, since the very beginning of this video, let's take a look at the back of the figure real quick. As you can see, it still looks pretty clean from the back, except this giant wheel. What is the giant wheel for? Well, on the Japanese version of the toy, you would turn the wheel, and as you turned it, the front of each of these Zords would swing open, revealing something on the inside. For just the basic toy, it would show decals of cannonballs in the arms and legs, and it would open up and reveal a cannon in the chest. And it would imply that the cannonballs were rolling into the cannon and shooting out of the cannon. Obviously, it's not a wheel on this toy. It's just a fixed piece of plastic. Doesn't rotate because, as I mentioned before, these individual Zords do not have opening panels. So instead, what they did is they incorporated the other gimmick of the season, the Ranger keys, or I'm not sure what they're called in Japanese, but they're called Ranger keys here. And this is the Red Zeo Ranger key. You can use any key you want. They're very easy to transform. You just fold the arms up and then flip the legs up. And now you have this little key. Teeny tiny, if it'll focus. There you go, a little teeny tiny logo for that Power Rangers season. Then you come up here, I think you get it that way. Put it in, and when you rotate it, it'll pop the chest open. The chest still does open. So let's see what happens. There's no cannon in there, is there? Huh. Well, either I lost my cannon, I didn't lose my cannon, or it didn't come with one. And that is the first real issue I have with just this base toy, is that it doesn't come with the finishing weapon used in the series. Yes, they'll use their swords probably more often than they use their cannons, but the cannon should be there. It should be there, and it's not. It bugs the crap out of me. But having this opened up allows us to show off the other gimmick, which is to combine with past Zords. So first we need to get it all ready. By folding those down, I'm using... I'm using the Mystic Force Dragon as the example, because I really like the Mystic Force Dragon. We're just gonna, first of all, I want to show you can integrate the key gimmick into the dragon. Loosen his wings here. Take the key, plug it in here, and his wings flap, kind of. It's really inconsistent. Let me show you from the front. See, they like want to flap at different speeds and at different times, but they flap. It's okay. It's not a great gimmick. And I will do an individual review of this guy at a later date, as well as all the other accessory Zords. Right now, we are just showing off the combination gimmick so that I can draw comparisons between it and the Japanese combination gimmick. So we take these pieces with the wings on them. We're going to plug them into the arms. Like so. We're going to take these pieces with these dragon feet on them. We're going to plug them into the legs, like so, covering up the Megazord's feet. You can see now it looks like he has dragon wings, and looking down, dragon feet, and I think that's pretty cool. Now we can take this, and we can fold it up like so, and put it in the chest. Close the chest up. And if I've done this right, there's a good chance I haven't. We can come here, and the head pops out. I'm actually surprised I did it right. And you do have to finish transforming the head yourself. But now you can see, and push this in as far as it'll go, you can see now we have the legendary Megazord with another Zord attached to it, and this gives him the power of flight, and I think he can like breathe fire out of his chest or something too, which is pretty cool. And that's really it. That's it for the gimmick. There are a few other Zords that can combine with this guy. They're all a little underwhelming like this. In the Japanese version, these pieces with the folded up wings would be in the arms. These pieces would be in the legs, and they would fold out the wings and the feet. And I'm going to try to explain really quick why I like this better. I like this better because not only does it mean we don't have panels hanging off the sides of the Zords, but we have these universal joints all over the place. Once we start getting more Zords, with these joints on them from future Power Rangers releases, we'll have this almost Mugen Binian level of combination possibilities, and I love the idea of that. So I think anyone who has any interest in Power Rangers should absolutely pick this toy up. It's relatively cheap. The accessory toys are relatively cheap. The season of the show it comes from is actually pretty damn good. I think it's great. I can't really see a downside, except maybe that this bit sticks out, but you can fix that. It's really easy. For articulation, do I even need to say it? The arms move, that's it. I like it. I give it a pretty high rating. Check it out for yourselves. Maybe pick one up. But yeah, this has been the Power Rangers Super Megaforce Legendary Megazord. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you're so inclined. In the description down below, there's a link to my collections video. Check it out if you see something you'd like me to review. Let me know and I'll see what I can do. This has been Awesome John 22, and I will talk to you guys later.